side. And we're building a Skipper, which is D2C ad intelligence platform. And I am like in a hole every day, focused on building workflows, making AI ads. I've said this before. I probably need to be focused a little bit more on our agency, but things seem to be going well. We have a wait list, so I can't be fucking up too much. Okay, cool. So we're gonna start assuming you all have like a 0 level baseline of knowledge, and we can get pretty heady if we want to. But let's just start at the beginning. So maybe this is where you are now. This is Nano Banana 2, and you're like, I want to go and I want to create an ad, right? And so you go in, you go in directly to Gemini, and you say, create me an ad for Hexclad cookware. I'm not gonna read the whole prompt, and it actually gives you something. It's not horrible, right? Shockingly, this is, I think, a Hexclad product, maybe. It made up the logo, and I'm sure everyone in this room is a bit more sophisticated than this, but like this is where we're all sort of starting from, right? But we're missing a few sort of key elements in order to get an actual really strong performance ad, right? Statics have gotten so good to the point where you can generate as many statics per day. You can probably like 100x a regular editor, which is pretty crazy. So we're just like in this world now where AI statics are just like ubiquitous, and then you got to animate them because CPMs are going to get so high. So why does this ad look like shit? So we're missing a lot of core things here. We have no brand spec guide. There's no copy constraints. We have no safe zones. There's no formatting rules. We have no persona targeting, and we have no scoring system, right? And we're going to get into what all these things are and like how to actually build this out. And I'm giving you guys a lot of sauce here. I was like, should I give them all the fucking sauce? But I'm gonna give you like 90% of the sauce. So this is an ad that I did for Hexclad, and this was with no creative reference. I just like want to frame this. The AI wrote that copy, which I think is fucking good. And in my prompt, I had the brand spec card, I had a format template, I had the persona, angle, emotion, I had the safe zones, product image per upload, and then I spun up 7 agents to score that copy, and it would keep iterating on the copy until it actually had something that made sense. So same AI, same copy, totally different output. Yeah, exactly. So copy comes before the static. And one of the agents, I'll get into the agents in a bit. Okay, so this is the fix. These are the sort of 3 things you really need in order to have effective static ads. You need a brand reference card, and this is with Nano Banana 2. So when Nano Banana 3 comes out, you can throw all this shit out. A brand reference card, and we'll get into what that looks like. You need a format template, which is just like an MD file, and then you need to have scoring agents. Scoring agents for copy, brand reference card for brand guidelines. I know everyone says like, ugly ads work. I completely agree, but a lot of fucking brands just like want you to be on brand, so you gotta at least figure that out. Okay, cool. So setup. So pretty easy. You need Claude. You need Fal.ai, which gives you access to Nano Banana 2. Harry and I were chatting earlier, and a lot of people are using Higgsfield. I just think Higgsfield is a bit of a scam. I just like really distrust that company. Their margins are really good, and they're really overcharging you. If you go directly to Fal.ai, you're effectively paying for the model cost. It's like 8 cents per image or something like that. You can also go directly in Gemini to do Nano Banana, but their API sort of sucks. Okay, so again, let's just assume no one has any baseline level of knowledge here. There's 3 sort of tiers of Claude. Claude Cowork, Claude Chat, Claude Code. I sort of think of this as like, if it's like Pokemon, like these are like the 3 evolutions. And so like, here's your Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, right? And so Cowork is a great place to start. It looks at your computer, you can set up automations, download your spec cards, put them in your project. If you skip this step, everything else is useless. And if you're using Claude Chat, download the MD file, upload it to the project knowledge base. If you created these spec cards within Claude Code, it's automatically going to be saved into your folder. That's why Claude Code is like superior in every way. Everything you're building is automatically saved in the folder that you're creating for your client. Okay, Format template. So sort of think of this as like a recipe card. This is just like a markdown file, right? So this is an example for like what a headline ad is. So what I've done is I like, and credit to Dara, she helped out with this. It's like, I went and found like every headline ad I could find, and I uploaded that to Claude, and I was like, what different versions of headline ads are there? And there are a lot, right? And so what I don't want is to be generating the same headline ad every time. And so I have, you can't see the whole thing, but I have multiple different versions. We have style A, and then I think it goes to like style, I don't know, F maybe. And then for each style, I have headline, subheadline, composition, typography, safe zones. I have never read this once in my life, and I never plan to. But what I can tell you is it works really, really well. Effectively, what I did is I uploaded all of these headline ads into Claude, and I was like, I need you to analyze all of these ads. I need you to tell me what they're doing differently, and then I need you to create a reusable template that I can feed information into that will generate prompts for me. So, yeah, that's effectively that. And I'm giving you guys this one today. You get a headline. You get a headline. So yeah, this is just sort of the TLDR of what I just said. Collect all of your examples. If you want to create your own MD file, screenshot 5 to 10 ads of the style you want. Analyze these ads. What do they have in common? Write me an MD file with copy slots, word counts, image direction, and rules. And especially if you're in Claude Code, make sure you're maximizing tokens. Say like you're using Opus 4.6 and there's an option to do the heaviest thinking mode possible. And I'll say like, don't stop until you have at least 1,500 words. So I want this thing, when it's making me my first MD file, it should take at least 15 minutes, if not an hour. Save it. Yes. So output this file. Tell Claude, output this file as your template, whatever ad you just created, right? So there's like headlines. I have a bunch of MD files for like before and afters, etc. But if you wanted to create one for a certain like influencer type, right? You would upload all of those ads, and then you would have Claude, save it as an MD file. Where I'm giving you guys a bit of a head start is with my sort of headline MD file. Maybe someone else has better ones in this room. I'm sure it's very possible, if not entirely likely. You can use my headline template as a starting point. So if you wanted to do a different format, you could tell Claude, like, use this as a reference. I want to do a different ad type. I don't know, I had a little animation in there. That was an accident. Okay, layer 3. This is copy. Okay, so agents. Everyone's fucking talking about agents. This is really easy. Every piece of copy I'm writing has to go through these 7 agents in order to pass. And all I did the first time, I was like, I think I started with 4. I was like, I need an agent to ensure that the copy we're writing fits the persona we're focused on, fits the angle, fits the emotion. And then I was like, okay, I need a more generic one. So like if we have the brand guidelines, fonts, colors, whatever, we also have already auto-engineered what the brand looks like. So it's on brand, copy excellence. So this is like the Ogilvy one, but I also have like 5 other D2C copywriters in there. The ones they picked for me were pretty bad. Maybe some people are in this group, so I won't say anything. And then, format, ensuring that it's matching like the headline format or like the before and after format. And then grammar. It fucking forgets plurals all the time and it drives me nuts. So I created a grammar agent. And so every time I'm going in, my brief is entering the scoring stage. I have 7 markdown files. So I say, every agent needs to keep grading this until they're giving it a score of 90 plus. And if there's any grammatical error, it gets an instant fail. And again, this process probably takes around 15 minutes until it fully passes the process. So yeah, the same process as the format templates. Upload the examples. Like if you're creating your own agents, like this is just for me, right? Like persona angle, like it's going to be different for everyone. You may have different agents you want to test. You need to define like what is this agent checking? Do you care about the persona? Maybe you care about it, hitting a certain age demographic. Maybe you care that they have really white teeth. You know, it really just depends. You know, give it the Claude score of 1 to 100, strengths and weaknesses. And then again, like just set that gate. No briefest shipping until everything scores above a 90. Okay, save it. Save it. All of these agents save as markdown files. Like you're building a system here. It's really important that you save all of your agents into your Claude chat if you're not using Claude Code. If you're using Claude Code, they'll automatically be saved in your folder. I have all the markdown files in a Claude project. I give it my brief inputs. This is also assuming, the demo is assuming that I know my persona, angle, emotion, and product in advance. Claude writes the copy, agents score the brief, and then once I'm okay with the brief, Claude generates the image prompt, right? So there's a human in the loop right here, right? You still need to approve the copy. That's where I'm at right now. Maybe I'm gonna sort of skip that, you know, human in the loop thing here soon. Paste into Fal AI and generate, and I've never, every time I'm generating an ad in Fal or Nano Banana, I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna fuck something up, and every time I'm like, wow, this just like fucking nailed it. And so like, it's crazy, man. Like we're just like, man, I don't know. So yeah, we just did that crazy demo. How nuts was that? What next? So you can do like a format explosion, right? So like if you got an ad you really, really liked, you can say, okay, I have a markdown file for, you know, testimonials, UGC, us versus them, before and after, statics, offer promo. You can upload that one ad you created and say, same copy, give me a prompt for all of these different ads, just run them through Fal, and then you're gonna have like 48 different ads. And like, this will probably take you an hour max. This was a newsletter I did a few weeks ago, and all of these ads probably took me 45 minutes to create, which is crazy. And they look good. They look good. Another bonus here, you know, animate your statics. You know, if you all sort of take this away and you start generating a bunch of AI ads, I'm going to start animating mine, so I'm not competing with you all. And so, you know, the idea there is what you're doing is you're taking your static, you give it to Claude, and you're like, give me some ideas on how I can animate this. It will give you a few ideas, and then what you need to do is you need to create a missing frame, right? Like Veo 3.1 is still the best. I think Veo 3.2 is getting released in May, so this will all change. But you create a missing frame. So like in this one I did, you know, for Cody, he was like, yo, how do I animate statics? I uploaded this ad into Claude. I was like, give me some ideas for animating the static. It was like, why don't you just like have the Jones Road thing like drop in the water? And I was like, great. So I created an end frame, which was, I actually created a start frame just without the product. I said, remove the Jones Road product. So I had a start frame of this without the Jones Road, and then I had an end frame of this, and then I created a prompt in between those, and now you can just very easily animate all your statics. And then finally, you know, cloning competitors' ads, like, we don't really do this, but everyone wants to fucking know how to do it. You know, winning competitor ads, in the thing I'm gonna give you, I'm giving you an MD file, put it in your project, put it in your Claude code folder, and what I don't like is just ripping people's creatives, because it's just like, how the fuck do you know that's gonna work? So what I have in the MD file is like take elements of what the problem that they're targeting and recreate it to be on brand, right? Because like my Claude project knows all of this information about this hexclad thing, and so it's recreating that with all of the sort of parameters in place. And when you are doing this, right, you're still uploading your brand reference cards and your product photos. And that's it. And if you want to screenshot that, that's all like the markdown files and the prompts.
Okay, well. So I'll just say a couple things. Tell people about Skipper, the software that you built briefly, what that is.
Yeah, for sure. So we are building, or have been building, a software that does pretty much all of this for you. You know, we are It's a social listening platform that is perpetually scraping like Reddit, Twitter, your reviews, determining personas, angles, emotions you need to be targeting, and then subsequently generating the briefs and the ads, right? And so like we were in a great spot with Nano Banana Pro. Nano Banana 2 came out, so we're just like fine tuning things a little bit. So it's going to be, we have a handful of beta testers from Foxwell in there, which is great. If you want to beta test it, let me know.
Foxwell exclusive, baby.
It's a Foxwell exclusive. Yeah.
And by the, if you're not on Will's newsletter, how do they get to the newsletter as well?
Yeah, if you click on the QR code, there's an option to join my newsletter.
It's really good. I don't read any other newsletters, basically. No offense to any of you that put one out. But yours is always like super tactical, full of this stuff every week, like all the time. So I appreciate that.
Thanks. And I give an update on my dog and my baby every week too. So
Who has questions for Will? So many questions.
The brief that gets graded by your agents. You mentioned it's a copy brief, but statics are so much more than copy. There's visual elements to it. How much of that brief is an explanation of the visual on top of that copy? And then secondly,
it's a great question.
There's 7 agents, and my immediate reaction was, well, some of those agents will contradict each other.
Sure.
Because maybe some headline is by design has a typo, or like is dramatized with no grr with many R's or something, right?
Yep.
How would then, if one agent is there a way for an agent to override another one?
Yeah,
to kind of for a hypothesis.
There's different weights for each of the agents.
Okay.
So yeah, if you think of just like a simple like sort of linear equation, these are each coefficients, and like they add up to 1, right? And so like for me, being on the copy excellence is the most important. I think I have like a 0.6 coefficient on that, right? And the other ones are like a little less important. And then in terms of being on brand, so it's giving me the copy, yes, but what it's also doing is in the background, it's starting to build a prompt with this format, MD, right? And so like once we build the copy, this sort of also goes back to the format template. Once it builds the copy, it has to go through one of these markdown files, right? So like we have our copy, and now it's going to go through this headline thing and say like this copy that we just generated, which of these like 8 different styles does it match the best? And then I'm going to go that route and create the ad.
Okay, so the agents are essentially saying, this is the copy, this is the style, will it work in that context?
Exactly, yeah.
And give it the grade.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those sub-agents, are they communicating to a master agent who's getting the feedback and redoing it?
How do you mean?
So you have all those agents, and they're ranking it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's getting that input? They're ranking it, and who's redoing it based on the feedback?
Oh, well, it's just a scoring system, right? Like,
It's giving that scoring system to what?
right now we just have a human in the loop. That's just like, if it'll spit out the copy, a human will say like, this looks good or this doesn't look good. What I am working on right now is, we were talking earlier, like I did the Mac Mini, I have like an agent on my own, and I'm training him to just do this all himself. It, she, he, she, them. Yeah, that is what's happening.
So right now, like all of the agents do it, they give you feedback, and the human has to say, okay, do it again.
No. The process is innately iterative until they get a score above a 90. So like it'll like spit out a copy and be like, oh wait, our score is an 80.
And it tries again.
It keeps trying, and sometimes it'll do like 12 iterations.
Does it try again with feedback, or just try
No feedback. But the agents they do talk to one another in the process, right? Yeah.
Just another plug. Will does teach us in the community every week too.
I know. Sorry, it can get pretty heady.
I have a very similar process, but for copywriting. And my question, what I'm struggling with right now is how do you integrate performance feedback and memory? Because you can generate 1,000 concepts and they all look good on paper, but it needs to know what works and also remember what it's done last time so that it doesn't do it again.
Yeah, it's a really good question. And like going into this, I was like, let's just assume we know the persona, angle, emotion, right? But that is like a whole nother piece of the puzzle. So there's really 3 things that matter, right, in doing this. And this is what we've built internally now. So one, I just like, here, I'll show you guys. And you can all access this as well. It's for free. I was showing Rooster this earlier. So the first thing you sort of need to realize, like, where the holes are in your strategy, right? And so this is a tool that I just vibe coded. So like my issue, I don't have an issue with them, but like the motions atria, right? Like since Facebook started to allow you to sort by impressions, right? Like, why are these platforms not like allowing you to sort by impressions to determine like what are the best performing statics? Because it would be prohibitively expensive for them to do that. They're relying on you to go and save that ad their into their database. So I was like, well, that's fucking crazy. Like, it's the Facebook Ad Library API is free. I need to use Claude here. I'm just using Sonnet to determine the format persona angle, and so like here, we can sort of get a sense of like per industry, right? What formats are being utilized. Again, this is all statics. Formats, personas, angles, emotions, and then I added a feature here. And you need to sign up for my newsletter. I also have an API for this if you're building your own shit. So you just like ask me for an API, I'll send it to you. What this is like this is telling me the holes in our strategy, like what sort of ad types we need to be doing more to like maximize for Andromeda, right? Then I just have the Meta API plugged in as well. So like then we know like what is performing, what's not. And so like my idea is like we have 3 circles. Like what is at the center of that Venn diagram? This is circle 1. Performance is circle 2, social listening is circle 3. Where is the overlap right now? And then that will go in and say like, this is a persona, angle, emotion you need to be focusing on, and then the process starts. Yeah, so if I hit Jones Road, it'll take a second, but it's gonna tell me for Jones Road, comparing Jones Road to really anyone else in sort of the, I guess, beauty fashion, like where they're over-indexing and where they're under-indexing in terms of ad types, in terms of persona, in terms of angle, in terms of emotion, and then it'll just be like, yeah, we need to be creating a lot more us versus them right now. And the idea is like when you go look at your competitors, like we should be doing more of that. Like there is, big data matters, right? And so like if we have like thousands of brands in here, we're going to have a normal distribution curve, and we can actually say like, okay, this data is actually far more reliable than just like looking at my competitors and saying, oh shit, they're doing Yapper ads or what whatever it is. Like we need to be doing that, which you definitely should be. And so like the law of sort of large numbers allows us to say, yeah, we need to be doing more of whatever this is.